All right, for y'all that don't know, we do have a YouTube channel um with videos on it for certain things, and I'm still waiting on our onboarding, new onboarding material and things like that. Book that I got somebody designing for us. Supposed to have been ready by the end of October. I haven't heard from her. That don't mean I won't get it tomorrow, but we'll talk about that later. But and working on some stuff that's coming up before the year is out for you guys. All right, today we're going to talk about, let's see, why is this missing something? Mhm. All right, getting our buyers from consultation to the closing table. The reason this has been in my spirit to do on tonight is because pretty much all year long, but really lately, um, we've been putting deals in, and this is on the listing side as well. And so I've been seeing a lot of cancellations, and some of the things have been could be controlled. Tonight we want to talk about not giving up on your buyer or seller so fast. All right. Throughout this year, I even was telling Nicole, between buyers and sellers, um, I think I've lost like 4 people this year, which honestly would have put about $60,000 in my pocket if I would have closed the people that I work with or was working with. And and even though I got several streams of income, that's extra money I could have had that I really wasn't sweating too much at the time. But then when you realize it, you be like, man, $60,000, that's a lot of money. And that's more than a lot of people make. So just basically taking every person that you get not for granted. Sometimes my gift of doing this, I can get comfortable and know that God is going to send me more business. And I haven't lost a lot of deals in my career, but I'm telling you, it happens. All right. My first couple of deals, couple of years in real estate, I used to um I used to hear realtors talking about, them losing deals. At my brokers, at my other companies, realtors coming to the broker crying, broker telling stories and stuff like that, about realtors having to pay their bills and they couldn't pay their bills because they thought the house was going to close. And I was so confident in God and things like that. I'm like, that stuff like that don't happen to me. And then probably after my second year, deals and things just started falling apart for different reasons. Um, and I'm like, wow, this do happen. But my broker used to always tell us, and I tell y'all, do not cash that check in your head. Do not spend that money until you close. All right. Until you get that closing check. I'm telling you, because things happen. I've had all type of things happen. I've had people pull out at the closing table. I've told that story before. I had a girl sitting at the closing table, was about to sign, and said, God told me this not my house. And she didn't sign. All right. She didn't sign. She said that wasn't her house. It was her first house. I sat there and told her, tried to counsel her, and I had to write hard with it and say, hey, this seller can go after you and stuff like that. And she got mad at me. And ain't want to work with me no more because she didn't feel like I had her best interest. But really, I was trying to protect her from a lawsuit. Um, the girl, the girl had actually, good thing the seller didn't go after her. They just kept the binder. Um, hold up, somebody ain't muted. Let me mute everybody. But good thing the seller didn't. The realtor was cool. and the seller didn't sue her, just took the binder. Um, the can you never mind, I muted everybody. I hope I ain't mute myself. Can somebody tell me if they can hear me? Unmute themselves and say if you can hear
Yes,
me.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can hear you.
thank you. So good thing, you know, like I say, her husband had called, say, Will, you a great man. But my wife was saying she didn't feel like you had her good intention. She told you God said she didn't want the house and stuff. I said, man, I was just trying to save y'all from a lawsuit. And she was like, well, she wants to work with another realtor. And sure enough, about 30 days later, they closed with a house twice as big. I seen it on social media. They closed with a house twice as big as the one they were going to get. So she heard God on that situation. All right. I've had situation where somebody died right before closing on the other end, so the closing didn't go through. So I got all type of stories I can tell you. I've closed hundreds of houses over my career. My main 6 years, the last 2 years, I haven't been doing real estate as heavy because I've been trying to help you guys and give you guys opportunity. But you know, I do still have people call me and they be like, well, I know you're a broker now, but I'll rather work with you, if possible, or something like that. So I still do work it. I just don't promote it as much. But I still get calls. I've been getting calls probably the last week or two, actually. A lot of calls. So it's like, but the main thing is don't spend that check, and we have to stop the bleeding of losing people as realtors. Once we get somebody, we have to make the best effort to get them to the closing table, because that's what's going to get your name and your brand out there. That's what's going to get your name and brand out there, is figuring out and making sure that you did a great job at getting them to the closing table. And I got a call today while I'm on it. There's a house off 103rd that I had listed, and I never did even post it that I got it up under contract. Um, I haven't posted it or nothing, and we're supposed to close on the 8th. So I've been kind of quiet about it, but it's a house off 103rd, and they were with another realtor. They were with another realtor at the time, and I looked up the realtor. I asked, and I told this story too for those that might have been on the call, that anytime somebody calls me that has a realtor, you know, I say I got realtors. You know, I'm not going to try to take their customer. You know, some people just don't understand. And some sellers and buyers don't understand simply because realtors do not communicate good enough to them about the process and what's going on. So they get to talking to people. All right. They get to talking to friends, they get to talking to families. And then you have somebody they talk to that honestly may know a good realtor. And so I get calls like that all the time. Probably over 50% of my business is from another realtor dropping the ball, to be honest with you. So somebody be done pointed out my name or called my name or something like that. So with that particular home, these people had to move. The realtor, and she was a good realtor. She had a team, Caucasian. I looked her up, and I had gave the seller some advice on what I feel like I would have did as a realtor if I was represented. But the house was on the market for 70 days, and she said they had no showings for 70 days. So I had gave her some advice on how to do it, and then she decided to get rid of the realtor, right? And the realtor was nice enough, like I tell y'all, if somebody don't want to work with you, just let them go. All right, there's a reason sometimes. And the realtor was very nice and let her go, and you know, ain't charging nothing, gave her, you know, just say gone. My heart is to help you sell the home. So I looked, and when I took it over, she had some great pictures for the listing. So I actually called the realtor. And I said, yeah, you had this list. And I say, can I buy your pictures? So that's one thing. You are not supposed to use another realtor's pictures that they purchased if you're taking over a listing. So I asked her, could I buy her pictures instead of getting pictures remade? And she said, sure. Very nice lady. So I sent her the $250 for the picture. I cashed out the tour or whatever. And she said, yeah, I just wanted to sell the home and good luck. Well, this lady gave me 30 days to sell the home, right? Or she said that her husband said she was going to rent it out. They were just going to rent it out um, because they needed to move. So anyway, I had the house. And how about we went up under contract on the 30th day? Right before they was going to take it off the market. So we went up under contract, and she was so happy. She was so happy because I was referred by my godmother um, to her. And she's just been bragging about me ever since to her godmother and everybody else about how this other realtor had it for 70 days and how, they gave me a chance and got it up under contract and everything has been going smooth and we're about to close. Um, but anyway, this same person, I got a call today from a seller that actually is in the same boat. The house is about 3 or 4 houses down from the one I got up under contract. And the same lady, my godmother, out the blue, end up talking to the lady and telling her that, my godson sold his house, and she told her 2 weeks. It was 30 days, but that's how people just brag on you. She said, the person right down the street from you had a house on the market with another realtor, and my godson took over and got the house done in 2 weeks. So she called me and I say, hey, I just went through this situation with the people down the street. I'm not here to take business from realtors. I said I can look at the home to give you some advice about the home. But I say I got to be careful too, because I said that I do not want to step over, but I said I can look at it and let you know something. So when I looked at it, I seen that now this house has been on the market for 40 days. All right. It's been on the market for 40 days. She said they've done 2 open houses. They haven't got any showings. So when I look at it for her, it said that seller needs a 30 may need a 30-day lease back. All right. So that stuck out to me. It said in the private notes, I say 30-day lease back. So I got back with her. I say, hey, I said, I would tell your realtor, I say, I'm not too fond of the pictures. I said, I'm just big on excellence. What people see is what's going to get them to the house. So I say, they're not terrible, but that's one thing you may look at. But I said, what's really killing you is that you'll want a lease back for 30 days after closing. I said you're not going to find buyers that has a lease that buyers want to move in the house when they close. Most buyers not going to be willing to let you stand. She was like, a lease back. She said, what is that? So I had to explain it to her. And I'm sitting here and thinking, why do I have to explain this to her? And she has a realtor. I said, well, that's basically saying that you need to stay in the house for 30 days after close. She said, well, we got a new construction and we're trying to, we can't close until December 13th. But she was like, I didn't know of any type of notes that we needed a 30-day lease back. I said, well, that's why you're not getting any showings. I say, because that's one of the first things I'm going to ask my buyers if I seen that note about, are you willing to give this seller 30 days after closing? And I say, most buyers not even going to go that route. They're going to try to find, she was like, oh my God. And she was like, your godmother told me you were good. She just went to brag and she was like, if I can get out of this, I'm gonna get you to sell my house. But she said, I'm gonna call her right now and I'm gonna get back with you and so such and such and such. So with that being said, that is how you get business. All right. It's all about helping people. All right. It's not all about you only want to help people simply because you want the business or you want the deal. I tell people all the time, people ask how we've grown so fast. And I mean, we could be, I'm telling you, we could be a lot bigger than what we are. But I got witnesses. I mean, Ashley on here, Alfred on here, some people that were with me, LaShonda is on here. I was doing classes helping people before I even started a brokerage. I was helping people from other brokerage. I was volunteering my time trying to teach people how to do real estate way before I even started a brokerage. I was throwing, see, I had no intentions of starting a brokerage at the time. I just wanted to help people. And I'm telling you, y'all, when God see your heart like that, wanting to help people, and it's not about just putting money in your pocket. I didn't get paid for helping people. All right, my brokerage ain't help pay me mentoring people, people calling me, asking me questions and different things like that. It's not about that. You have a heart, a sincere heart, and God knows your heart. God honestly knows your heart, whether we pretend or not. He knows, and I'm telling you, if he knows that you're sincere about doing the right thing, he's going to send you a lot of business. Okay? So, but getting back to what I'm going to teach tonight, we got to learn once again to take every deal serious, and everybody that we get to this that we get up under that gives us an opportunity. All right, because remember, it's over 12,000 realtors. People do not have to work with you. They just don't. Sellers do not have to work with you. Buyers do not have to work with you. It is a blessing that somebody is taking a chance to work with you to get them in a home. So you need to be thanking God, and you need to be taking that as serious as you can when working with them, and not giving up so fast, because the great realtors figure it out. There's always going to be some type of obstacle in a deal. Very few deals just go smooth all the way through. Very few. I believe they say over 88% of deals have problems, or over 88% of deals don't close on time. Over 88%. So the good realtors figure it out. I think I got Ashley on this call tonight. Yeah, I think I mentioned her name. She's been doing great this year with just accent. And this is one thing I'm seeing from some of our realtors. You're not asking the questions. Don't have it in your heart or spirit that people are not going to help you. Ask the questions, whether you call me, whether you call Kalika, whether you call Nicole, whether you call some of the ones that you look up to in this particular brokerage. Ask the questions. Because what one lender can't do, there's several others that can do it. You got to have more than one lender in your pipeline. And just because one lender tells you no or denies a loan does not mean that every lender cannot get you to the closing table. They have good and bad lenders, just like they have good and bad realtors. Plain and simple. I had a lender that I used to have come teach us, and he did good teaching the classes, but he had me and my buyer all messed up. I gave him an opportunity. He had me and my buyer, and he said it couldn't be done. I got with Travaris. Travaris figured it out, and we got her to the closing table. So, and that's what it's going to take sometime. And I've had to do that several times with several lenders. You cannot give up, because there is somebody out there that can get you to that closing table. I'm at least get 3 no's, a minimum. It may even go further before I give up on anybody. And when people see you fight for them like that, I'm telling you, that thing goes a long ways with them. All right. So getting your buyers from consultation to the closing table. All right. Um, good evening, Kalika. I see you. Um, Facts. Ashley, you helped me and I didn't come under you at exit. Yep. So yeah, I got plenty of testimonies like that. It's all about helping people. So with that being said, the buyer's consultation, all right? That buyer's consultation, you cannot ignore that. Whether you do it over the phone or you do it in person, you have to tell you have to do this, all right? Because this is going to save you a lot of time. It's going to answer a lot of questions. This is part of your due diligence of finding out, do I have a strong buyer that's going to get me to the closing table? Some of these lenders will just give you a pre-approval, ain't did no type of investigation or no due diligence on it. And now you around here shopping for months and now they ain't even qualified or they ain't even got the money in the bank to get the closing because they never did do their due diligence with it. But that buyer's consultation, ask the questions, y'all. All right. I put out there and I'm gonna be getting with y'all in November if you haven't seen it. I asked for everybody's buyer's consultation guide along with the seller's consultation guide to make sure that you are prepared to do a good buyer's or listing presentation. And I don't think I got it from 10% of my realtors. Maybe I'll say 10 is a good number, if that, that I've seen so far. So going forward, every month or two, I'm going to hold y'all accountable to making sure that y'all doing stuff. All right. Because I'm telling you, in 2025, I have to have serious realtors on my team that I know is out here trying to help people and do stuff. All right. And I understand, honestly, it's been a tough year for everybody. It's been a frustrating year. There's been trials left and right. Things are happening. Life has been life. And so I get it, y'all. But at the same time, we got to figure out a way to keep going, even in the midst of the battle with things. So, but tell buyers to be honest with you during the consultation, all right? Buyers, they used to always say buyers are liars when I first got into real estate, and I hated hearing that. I hated it until I found out that it was true. That a buyer will lie in a minute about their situation and where they're at. Um, they'll lie about their credit score. They'll say they've never been evicted. And different because it's not showing on the credit report. But things sometimes go deeper than a credit report. Okay. So you got to let them know that. All right. Be honest with me and be honest with the lender because listen, both of us are trying to help you. All right. A lot of people are intimidated from lenders. And tell them no, this lender don't get paid unless he get you a house or she get you a house. So let's be honest so we can figure out what we need to do in order to get you to the closing table and get you to the closing table as easy and stressful as we can. All right. Asking them the simple question, are all parties and spouses on board with this? Because honestly, you can have a wife that's ready to move and you can have a husband that like the mortgage or rent where they at and they not trying to pay no 2,000, 2,500. Hey, listen, it's hard for men to buy houses. More women buy houses than men, but I'm telling you, men don't like to be stressed. Okay. And you got to find out, is everybody that's signing this on board? Even if it's in the woman name, all right, the husband may be having to give the down payment. Do he want to give up 15, $20,000 to buy this house for her? So So you need to find that out. Even on the listing side, do everybody really want to sell? That's on this deed. We need to find this out before I start all this work. Because it's work. It's work. So we're in this together. We're forming a team, and we're either trying to get your house closed or we're trying to get you to the closing table to buy your dream home. All right. So that buyer's consultation is always the first step with you ensuring and asking clear answers and getting them answers before you even start the process of wasting your gas looking for a house. And setting them up with the right lender. Credit check, all right? Knowing their credit, all right? Asking them, do you know your credit score? A lot of people don't. Some people gonna say, oh, last time I looked, it was 680. All right, when was the last time you looked? I think around February. Well, it's almost November now. So, and I tell my customers so that we don't get a hard pull from the lender. One of my strengths is credit. I'm gonna look at your credit on Credit Karma. Let me pull up, send me your or if I'm right in front of them, you know, give me your ID so we log on so that we can look at your credit together. But knowing Credit Karma is not the number that a lender is going to look at. It still gives me an idea of what we may be around. So Credit Karma is always around 30 points higher than what a lender will look at, but at least I'll know. But even with that, if they're over the 600, if they're over the 650, there are still other circumstances that can stop them from getting approved for a home. And that stuff you need to be looking at on that credit report to make sure. And if you, I'm gonna teach on credit again for those. I almost did it today, but I said I'd rather teach on this right now. But I will teach on credit again and how to really how we should. Matter of fact, I'm about to pull up something now. Let me see something. All right. Let me see. All right. Stop. Take a look at this. What did I do? Share. Okay. We about to look at a credit report right now. Can everybody see this? Everybody can see this credit report?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna pull up this credit report on Credit Karma and you're gonna say whether they're 600, 700, whatever. All right. We know that, probably a minimum 580. Get with your lenders to see what they can do um to get people in a home. So normally I tell people you want to be over 580, at least 580, but it's gonna be a higher interest rate and um you're not going to be able to get in no down payment assistance process with it. So we can get you a house as long as you got the money at 580 or better. Really, we kind of want to be over 600. Lenders are scared of 580s, but they can get it done. But we want to be over 600, and either you're going to have to put the money down, or we can get your score over 640 to try to get you some type of assistance. All right. Most people want the assistance. So I'm gonna look at this credit score and I'm gonna be like, well, hey, you at a 500 right now. I'm gonna be like, hey, let's look at your credit um to see what we need to do to get it up. All right? Because listen, if you understand, if you learn this, all right? If you understand how to tell people how to get their credit score up, you're going to get more business because a lot of people are only a few points or a trade line away from getting credit. A lot of people credit scores are low simply because of either utilization or they don't have any credit. So the bottom line is, people, you need at least three, and this is for y'all too. You need at least three credit cards on your credit report. You should have at least three credit cards. And you want to be over 5 years, at least 3 years in average trade time. But I'm going to look at this and say a lender is going to say you're probably at 470 or 480 if they pull it. So let's see what we need to do to get your credit up. All right. Because they're going to look at this and I'm going to be like, don't be embarrassed. Don't be discouraged. All right. We've all been here. You know, we want to talk credit, different things like that. So I talk to them to make them feel comfortable. All right. I'm going to look. Hold up. See something. Logged in too long. I'm going to look at it. All right, I'm gonna hit credit, then I'm gonna hit score details. So this is gonna tell me everything. There are credit factors on this. It's gonna tell me everything. All right. The first thing I'm already know that I can't work. They not ready right now. Okay. So I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna say first thing is your payment history. You want to be at 100%. All right. I see you at 95. You've had some late payments. So that has killed your credit score. So if they ain't at 100%, that's going to be my first sign that that you must know, y'all, that if any buyer has been late within the past 12 months, all right, they may not qualify for a home. All right, so you need to find out on this payment history whether these have been recent late payments or it could have been 2 or 3 years ago. But late payments within the last 12 months doesn't stop them from getting a home. They will have to write a letter. The underwriter might ask them to write a letter to say why that payment was late. People forget to pay bills. Sometimes, I've had it where an interest rate. I paid off a whole bill. All right. I paid $700 for a whole bill to be paid off. Didn't know that interest was the next month. All right. So it's a 20 something dollar fee or something like that. And it has went 30 days and now it's not been reported as late simply because I forgot. So things happen. So I just tell people get ready to write a good explanation letter. Kids get sick, they've had to take off work. Sometimes people just forget, but sometimes, once again, they'll want an explanation letter. All right. So that doesn't automatically kill a deal, but too many late payments, they might get denied, y'all. This credit card use. This person is at 107% in utilization. That is mainly why he's in the five. His credit cards are maxed out. You cannot max out credit cards. All right, I can click on that. Let me see. Uh, all right. You cannot max out credit cards. All right. Normally, you should be up under 10% on utilization. You should be up under 10% to keep a decent credit score. All right. You can use the available credit on a credit card, but you should be up under 10%. There's a lot of people I hear in conferences and stuff like that. They still teach 30%. It is not 30% that they need to keep it below. All right. 30%, honestly, is killing your credit score a little bit. And then anything over 30% is concerning to lenders because it's going to be like, it looks like you're leading yourself to debt, that you're trying to get in debt. So this is why a lot of people get denied too when they go trying to apply for other credit cards because they're already over 30% utilization on the ones they got. So he's way too high on his credit card limits. So they need to not bring them down. And that's also going to hurt their debt ratio because they got too much debt on the credit card side. All right. I'm going to look at the derogatory marks and I'm going to say, hey, man, that's great. You ain't had, you ain't got no collections, no nothing. Keep that up. I'm going to look at the credit age. All right. Your credit age is only a year and 5 months. All right. Normally, you want to be around 5 years, but 3 years showing somebody that you've at least been paying good over the last 3 years. That is good. Total accounts, and they got it right here. Excellent. Credit age needs work. Credit use needs work. payment history, needs work. So all that stuff is right here on Credit Karma. Hard inquiries. Stop having people, I'm gonna tell them, stop having people pull your credit. This is killing you. Each inquiry is around 3 points. So that's 54 points you done lost from people. And usually people continue to have hard inquiries because they keep getting denied and they keep trying. And then what's really a killer is that when you go to these car lots, you got to either go to a credit union, get your check up front, and go to the car lot, but don't go to that car lot and let them people are going to run your credit and they're going to give you 10 to 15 inquiries because they're going to shop for the best rate. And guess what? Those car people get money from those lenders that loan you the money for the car. So that's why they shop you around so much because they're getting money back off the loan. So you tell them to stop run, don't let, unless you really, really need something, do not have anybody run your credit. This should never, hard inquiries, you should never be over 3 to 5 hard inquiries a year or every 2 years. You want to keep them as low as possible. But the good thing is all these things could be gotten off. All right. Find you a good credit repair person. All right. We see Alicia all the time talking about credit. All right. She got a credit company. You know, I know credit people as well. So sometimes I say you need either pay them off if you got the money, or sometimes it's cheaper to go through credit repair. All right. But either learn, and this is why I say have a serial entrepreneur mindset. You learning credit and being an expert in credit will really help you out in your real estate career. All right. So this is what I go over with them. And this is part of my buyer's consultation. And sometimes I'll look at a credit report and say, oh, this clean. It look good. You good for the lender. All right. Finding out if they self-employed. That's very important. All right. Because now you got to find out on your W-2 forms. I mean, on your self-employed stuff, you know, did you write off everything? All right. So not just the credit score is going to get you approved for the loan. Are you a W-2? Yes, I'm a W-2. Okay, you good. Well, how long you been working on the job? Oh, 6 months. Well, no, that's not going to work. I talked to a lady today, called me from South Carolina. Um, you know, she had her house already picked out. She said one of my friends from school had told her about me and was bragging about me. And she said, what did she need to do to get a house? She said, well, my credit score is at 698. I was like, oh, you good with your credit score. And I say, do you work? She was like, no. She said, I haven't worked in 3 years. I was like, well, how did you expect to pay for a home? And she was like, I said, do you got any income coming in? She said, well, yes, I have Social Security. I've been getting Social Security. So I'm like, well, lenders can use Social Security. If y'all didn't know that, lenders can use Social Security. Okay. So, but that doesn't mean that her debt ratio and all that can get her the house that she wants. But she definitely can still qualify. All right. I've closed houses with people that have had Social Security checks only. All right. So that's that. All right, let me get up out of here and go back to my slide. All that.
Hey, Pastor, this Dee Dee. I have a question. Are we able to ask questions right now at
Go
this
ahead
point?
while well, wait till I finish the presentation because your question may get answered before then.
Okay, thank you.
Um, yeah, hold up. And I'm almost done. The rest of it'll be pretty smooth. All right, so just hold on. All right, buyer's consultation, y'all. Credit checks. All right, relationship with other realtors. All right. So I've seen realtors. You must form a good relationship with other realtors. We all have the same common goal. All right. Some of these realtors will will try to bully you if you don't know what you're doing. All right. Um, they would try to take over the whole transaction. They would be trying to impress their seller or their buyer with how much power they supposedly got to get a deal done. So you got to calm them jokers down sometime and be like, hey man, or hey, um, we ain't working like this. All right. We trying to get this done and let's work together to get this deal done. But before you send in an offer, y'all, when you start, you get approved by the lender, y'all start shopping. I always call that other realtor. First of all, and when I'm at the house and somebody say that they like the house, let's put in an offer. The first thing I'm doing is texting that realtor and telling them that an offer is coming. Because you know why I do that? Because they may already have an offer that they're negotiating before you get home and draw up this offer. So, um, and then I'm already, this one reason I tell y'all to get a transaction coordinator as well, because now they still may want to go see 3 or 4 more houses. But my advantage is that I'm gonna text Danielle right in that house too and say, hey, draw up this offer for me. So while we're doing them other houses, I already got the offer ready before we even finish shopping that day. All right. And I understand that some of you want to learn the process, or some of you just want to save money, which is cool. But sometimes you got to think, are you really saving money? All right. In the end, um, you got to you got to have a heart. One reason I got a transaction coordinator is, first of all, it looks more professional. Um, Anytime I'm working with another realtor on the other side that's not using a transaction coordinator, it's always slow and um it's always a little harder for some reason. But and some people are really good at their paperwork. I mean, they do it really good. I mean, they'll do the contract right at the house too. So I'm not killing y'all for doing that. But but me getting a transaction coordinator honestly tripled my business when I was able to do that. So it's really benefited me. And most six-figure realtors that I know have transaction coordinators. So, but always call that realtor first. And you don't have to use Danielle. It's some more out there that do transaction coordinator. But call them or text them and let them know, hey, I'm about to send an offer over so that they'll know. And if they're negotiating another offer, they may say, let's hold up on this offer to see what we got. And I always ask them, do they have any offers? All right, because that tells me how much time I need as well. So I'm trying to make friends. All right. You never know who you're going to have to work with or who you're going to have to work with again. So know that y'all are not enemies, even though y'all are working with different people and negotiating. Let's talk and figure out what we need to do. Some realtors will talk to you and tell you, hey, this is what you need to put in. This is what my seller wants. This is what they accepting, and it makes it easy. But we all have a common goal in line. Never just go home and send an offer. All right. Always follow up to make sure that they got that offer. Because some realtors will send an offer, you don't even know it got stuck in spam or it never did go through. It's still in draft. They thought they sent it and you missed out on offers. So you got to communicate with that other realtor at all times. And I'm telling you, it's going to help you in the end because you run across them again, they're going to be like, man, I love working with Luna last time on that other deal. And there's going to be some other folks putting in offers and they're going to be like, no, I want to work with Luna because Luna going to get it done. So forming those relationships are crucial, y'all. Binder deposit, once you get that offer, explaining that binder deposit in that consultation, making sure that it's in a timely manner because you have no contract. You honestly have no contract until that binder is in. So make sure this is in and take the time to explain to that buyer how they can lose that contract, that binder deposit. and let them know, because that's honestly a fear for them. And there have been people that have lost binders. I've taken plenty of binders, and I've taken them from them sorry behind realtors that just think they know it all, or done got smart with me or something like that. And I just let them do what they do, and I'm be like, hey, you done lost the binder, but you ain't get back with me by the time this. And and I just teach them a lesson, you know. And it's a hard lesson. And you lose somebody to binder, folks are hot. And this is why when you're negotiating on binders too, you do not want to be up here trying to give 5, 10, 20, $30,000 in binder deposits, because you lose them people money, boy, it's gonna be problems. All right. So I always try to negotiate the lowest but fair binder deposit, just in case something happens. Because if both parties don't sign the release of that binder deposit, it has to go into mediation. First of all, get with me, because I can talk to the broker and be like, hey, per the contract, you need to talk to your realtor, because per the contract, we were in the guidelines of the 10 or 15 days of our due diligence and stuff like that, but its seller does not want to sign or so forth. And you can run into that. It don't matter what that contract say, because you know what? That other realtor didn't explain it to the seller. And that seller is mad because guess what? They had another offer. They had another offer that they could have taken, and we as the realtor did not do our due diligence with our buyer. And we didn't even know, and they took their house off the market. They missed out on another deal because we didn't take the time to do the due diligence to find out. We done picked a bad lender. We done picked a buyer we know nothing about. And now we done wasted everybody's time. And they pissed off. And they be like, I don't care what the contracts say. They need to give me that binder. So I'm telling you, it can happen. All right. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. Home inspections next. After that binder, get that home inspection done ASAP. All right. A good offer is letting somebody know, hey, I believe the contract says 15 days now for home inspection, giving them time, but you get that home inspection done as soon as possible. As soon as that contract is going in, I'm getting with my home inspector and be like, hey, when is the earliest you can get over there to do the home inspection? I'm gonna put 7 days on this contract, because it's a hot house, it's a nice house. I don't want to drag it out. So when can you get over there? And I got 3 home inspectors that I deal with. So if somebody say I ain't got something the next week, I'm gonna go to the next one to see who can get there the earliest. But you want to get it done ASAP so you can find out if that buyer really wants the house, if if there's any issues with the house that need to be negotiated. Explain the process to them, or the seller doesn't have to fix anything before they even pay for that home inspection, because some stuff is evident in the house. All right. They're already going to see that the windows are bad. They're already going to see that the roof, something wrong with the roof. They're always going to see a cracked faucet or something like that. And you got to be wise enough to talk through this with your buyer and be like, hey, we already see some things. Um, ain't no telling what the home inspector is gonna find, and they still have the right not to fix it. So I'm just letting you know before you spend this $400 or $500 that all contracts are really as is, and the seller doesn't have to fix anything, or they can just fix some of the things that you want. All right. So explain that they don't get their money back for the home inspection. Before say, tell them the home inspection is for their peace of mind. It's not for the seller. All right. It's for their peace of mind whether they want to move forward with this house. So having those strong conversations and letting them know that, hey, we need to do this before our inspection period is up within the 7 days, and we can get our binder back. if we can agree to inspections and we can move on to another house. All right. And then after that, if we agree to the home inspection, the house is good. You still got to explain, you start explaining the appraisal. You tell, and this should be explained during the home buyer's consultation as well. Explain to them that, hey, we still got to get past the appraisal. All right. I know we're saying we're paying 340 for this house, but if it come back and the appraisal say 320, that is all the bank is going to give you. Now, we put in the contract that we were going to pay 340. That seller has every right to say they still want their 340. All right. Um, and getting with that lender, with that, like I say, communicating with that realtor to be like, hey, doing your comps before even the appraisal and be like, hey, we put it, but I really don't think it's going to appraise at that. Is your seller still going to be willing to sell? Because my comps are showing that it's a little lower than what you put. And that realtor may give you some guidance on whether, and you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste money. So having those conversations is critical. And then, letting them know we're going to do a final walkthrough with the home. Right before closing, y'all make sure y'all do this every time. Don't forget. I promise you, throughout all my deals, it's been sometimes I almost forgot to do a final walkthrough. I've been ready to close, get to that closing table, and then right before close, I'd be like, dog it, we ain't even scheduled a final walkthrough. So my mind, and that comes sometime when you're working with so many people. I'm telling you, when you get working with one person, it's pretty easy. But when y'all get to working with two, three, and four buyers at a time, I'm telling you, things can start slipping your mind. It can become a lot. And one last thing, do not get caught up. Do not get caught up in dog it, dog it. I had something good to tell y'all. Let me come back. Final walk, final walk.
Don't get caught up.
I see. Dog Alicia, it was right there. Ah, I remember that part.
Point out nothing that you see is wrong with the house.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but you're right with that. But if I think of it, I'll come back to it. But just making sure y'all do that final walkthrough before closing. And then lastly, once again, don't spend that money before closing, y'all. I'm telling you, things can happen. I've had a lender give me a clear to close. I mean, the email and all, we clear to close. Man, closing day came and ain't it wasn't clear to close. And the house was not clear to close. They had to do something. So um get happy when you're up under contract. That's good. Calculate your commission in your head. But don't go out just thinking everything is going to go smoothly all the time in these deals to where you go out spending your money and then it don't happen before closing. But now we got time for questions. Sister Dee Dee, Ross, you had let's let you go first. See if anybody.
First of all, I just want to say thank you, Pastor, for teaching this class tonight. It's been very informative.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it, and I know everybody else does too. My question was, I was thinking about like with self-employed people,
Mm-hmm.
how much income should they bring or show on their taxes in order to be able to purchase a home?
It depends on how much house they're trying to get. And honestly, what's their debt ratio? All right.
Okay.
So I tell people, even with W-2s, you can have two people making $50,000. They can work the same job, have the same make the same amount per hour, but they can get approved for two different amounts. And one can have one of, and the reason is one can have no debt. They ain't got no car note, they ain't got no child support, they ain't got no credit card debt. The other one got a car note, they got child support, all that. So they're gonna get approved for two different amounts. So I've had people like that and ask me that. Well, how he get? approved for 400 and I only get approved for 300. And so you got to break that down to them. So it's the same thing with self-employed. All right. It can be somebody that's claiming $50,000 a year and somebody claiming 30,000. The $30,000 person probably can get more of a house than the $50,000 one because the $50,000 one got more debt than the 30,000. So
Got you. Thank you.
just want to tell them over the 2 years of tax returns for self-employed people. All right. You tell them like this. All right. For self-employed people, what they're going to do, they're going to want at least 2 years. Okay. Um, if they say they made 50,000 one year, and they say they made 25,000 the next. You're going to add those 2 years up. That's going to be $75,000. All right. You're going to divide that 75 by 2 years. All right. And that's where you're going to get 30 some $1,000. That's the income they're going to use for self-employed people. So even now, going into this next year, all right, if you got a self-employed person, they filed earlier this year, before you get them approved for a home next year, what I usually do is tell them, let's get with the lender to see how much you have to claim.
Okay.
All right, so that way they'll know exactly what they need their accountant or their tax preparer to write off for them. You got to show self-employed people, y'all, you got to let them know they have to show the business winning when they're trying to buy a house. They can't write off everything and think that they're going to get approved for a big house. Now they do got bank statement loans now too. All right. For people that have did stuff like that, it's a higher interest rate. You got to let them know, and a higher down payment. So you do got self-employed people that definitely can still get approved for a house if they've written everything off with the bank statement only loan, as long as they see people. There has to be some order in everyone's life. That's what God tried to get across the homeowners. It's just simply getting your house in order and getting your finances in order. All right. And not trying to deceive and hide stuff all the time. You got to show the business winning for some time. Luna, I see your hand.
Yes, good evening. So I had a question about appraisals.
Mhm.
Do you still need to do an appraisal for a new construction home?
Yes. Yes, and
Okay.
normally the new construction people do that.
So they
Other
support
lender.
the
Yeah,
appraiser.
if you're going through their lender, yeah. But the lender will do an appraisal on the home. Yes.
Oh, yeah, their lender will order it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You rarely have a problem out of new construction
Okay.
appraisal. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. Bypass. All right, we done. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all got something out of this. And we're gonna have Luna pray us out tonight. And
Pastor, real quick, did you remember don't get caught up? Did it come back to you yet? Don't
no,
get caught up.
no, if it I'll put it in the group me. I'm sure it'll come to me.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to pray real quick. Dear God, as we gather here today on the Zoom link, we thank you for the opportunity to work together as a team. Please guide our conversations and our decisions, filling them with wisdom and understanding. Help us to support one another, fostering a spirit of collaboration and trust. May we serve our clients with integrity and compassion, always striving to make a positive impact in their lives. Grant us clarity in our goals and strength in our challenges. Let our efforts be blessed, and may we celebrate each success, big or small, together. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Beautiful, beautiful.
Amen. Amen.
All right. I love y'all. I'm here if y'all need me. Okay. Y'all have a great week. We got almost 2 months left All right, y'all, finish strong, y'all, finish strong. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Have a blessed night, everyone.
Good night.